So we'll get to our guest. I have a little clip. I'll play one of her clips before we introduce her. So I will play that right now.
Join me in my love affair with freedom.
We declare sovereignty as free people. Don't police me. Statism is death. We see a threat on our life, liberty, and property.
Instead of privacy, we have permission.
It's about control, isn't it?
Instead of life, we have granted existence.
It's about the incremental eradication of freedom.
Brave the world. Hijack the hijacker.
Create your own reality. We are not victims of culture. We are culture.
We are the Hydra. Cut the head off. I dare you. If something is certain, run the other way. Anarchy is accepting that we don't have all the answers. More so, anarchy is accepting that no one should have all the answers. But you cry, prove anarchy works, and we say, welcome to anarchy, population everyone. This is not utopia. This is not a vision. This is not a system. This is not a solution. We'll leave all that to the dictators. Allow me to escape the feedback loop. Allow me to escape the feedback loop.
So, yes.
It's like a trailer into my mind.
But it's good. I love that, and I love your views because a lot of the anarchists. And welcome, Julia, to the show, by the way.
Thank you.
Sorry for the delay.
It's okay.
But
it happens.
Yeah, a lot of the anarchist view, because I mean we have a lot of I mean none of us are anarchists, but I have a lot of anarchist friends, and probably the closest. I guess we'll say label. I don't like labels, but I'm closer to more anarchist views than anything else. I'm not on par, but with all of them. But I like how you. I like your the way that you handle it. I like your view on it. It's definitely closer to.
Yeah, the labels are kind of tricky, right? It's dangerous and isolate. It can be isolationist, but at the end of the day, I mean, for, I guess, self-promotion purposes, you need to call it something or else no one will understand what you're talking about.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
And I mean, with anarchism, too, the way I define it in many different ways, but recently I've been thinking about the concept of how the difference between anarchists or that label or people who claim to be anarchists in this community is all the progressive liberal status types, even though we don't like them, even though we disagree with them, we still want them to have their freedom. That's the difference between us and them, because they don't want us to have that. They hate us, and they actually want something done about it. We hate them too, but we still want them to have their rights and freedom, and we would not care if they lived freely and did their own thing at all, as long as it doesn't affect us.
Sure.
Do you go by a particular kind of anarchy? Like there's always anarcho-capitalists and communists, syndicalists.
I like the older term of individualist anarchist.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that one. I'm a huge fan of Anselm Belgarrigue, and he I'm sure Ayn Rand must have read him, because he talks about socialism in a very individualistic way. You know, he says there is only the self, and there's no social good, there is no public property, there is no shared common good. All of that is imagined crap. All there is the human being, and you're selfish, and if you say you're not, then you're a liar and you have an agenda. And he puts it in, I mean, this guy wrote this in the 1700s, so the language is quite different, but it says the same thing that Ayn Rand says years and years and years later.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, I got a bunch of people messaging me. I'm trying to shut Facebook down, so this stuff's going off. All right, anyway, we're good.
Yeah, but the thing with socialism, you got to share, and people just don't want to share, so it never works.
Same thing with Facebook. You got to share. Nobody wants to share, man.
Who was it that said communism will never work because people like stuff? Like Frank Zappa or somebody said that. You know, people like owning stuff.
Yeah, people love their stuff.
They got,
and actually, the most materialistic people I know are people from California, like the freaking liberal progressives. They love their stuff. They preach all this equality and socialism and spreading the wealth. Go to one of these people's houses. It's filled with crap. It's just filled with materialistic goods. And then, you know, when there's an economic downturn, they don't know what to do with themselves because they've always frivolously spent their money. Yep. They don't know how the economy works. They don't know how to save. And they just think people, like, they grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth. So communism is a great concept to them because they've never been poor. And then I find that, like, personally offensive because my family and I come from a country that had communism. We know what it's like to be poor. We know what it's like to be immigrants. Like, and then you have these horrible people from California who've grown up with everything, like, just handed to them, talking about spreading the wealth. Yeah, I'll take some of your wealth, honey. I'll take it. That's fine. My PayPal account is the same as my email, so send it to me, please.
That's funny. Well, speaking of, I'm laughing because you're speaking of California, and in November I'm actually moving from Maine to California for the winter.
Why on earth? Maine is so beautiful.
No,
and the lobster and the blueberries.
You don't have to tell me that. I've lived here for 34 years. I do know. I'm going there for the winter. I have some opportunities out there that I'm going to go do. I'm going to be there for 4 months. You know, it'll be a nice little trip. I'm not going to live there forever. I'm just going out there, so I'm going to see everything firsthand that you're talking about anyway. And of course, I have friends out there, and they say the same thing. They say the same thing that you say. But you know, I do. I have, you know, I got a lot of friends out there. I'm just going out there. It's a good setup for me. You know, I'm not going out there to look for work.
Unfortunately, California is where, like, a lot of things happen. So I don't blame you. I mean, I know a lot of my friends live there too.
Right. You know, I don't want to live there forever. No, I'm going to go there. You know, I have some projects that I'll be working on out there. Me and my friend from Boston we're driving. We're doing a road trip out there. We're going to be making some stops at certain cities on the way, and we're filming a documentary. And we'll be meeting up with certain activists, you know, and doing interviews for the documentary and stuff. So, I mean, it's a whole big thing. It's like one big 4-month project. I have a reality show that I'll be working on. It's not your typical reality show. I can't talk too much about it, but it's not, when you think reality show, it's not that.
Hey, I love reality TV. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, you'll probably like this because it's going to be entertaining. I'm not going to speak too much of it because I'm not supposed to say anything yet. But yeah, I think when it's done, I'll make sure that you get. I'll give you the link to it so you can check it out.
Sounds good.
So, all right. Before we get like too in depth, we of course I'm familiar with your work anyway, but I just happened, like, it was like last week. I was scrolling through my news feed and I saw, like, oh well, you were on the Alex Jones show. Well, we're not Alex Jones fans, but anyway. I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I have my opinion on Alex Jones.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So I don't normally want. No, I do want to know. I mean, you did a great job, by the way. I haven't seen. I did used to listen to Alex Jones a while back, but it was I don't. Of course, I don't see it all the time, but I've never seen him. He gave you his whole desk and everything. But this is, I got a question for you. he started to get some callers, with some legit questions, and if I felt like he couldn't honestly answer them without making himself look bad. So then the next thing you know,
the FEMA camp thing.
yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. But you'll understand what I'm getting at right here. So he goes to his commercial break or whatever, and then he comes back, and Alex is gone, and you're sitting there. So I'm just kind of curious, did he just not want to, have to answer all that stuff, and did he just, leave you there with all the callers, just to, fend for yourself?
No, I don't know. I think you're having, a biased interpretation. The only bad caller we had was that dude that was challenging him on FEMA camps, and
I kind of had fast forward through a little bit of it, and then I saw it went to a break because it was a whole 3-hour show. I was just trying to get to your part.
After that, we didn't really have that many questions. We had people calling in with input, and the questions were pretty basic. Alex was really the whole time he had somewhere to be. He had some personal things he had to work out. And we were supposed to do dinner and stuff with the crew, but it just didn't happen because of that, and he felt pretty bad over it. But so it wasn't anything I don't want to answer questions anymore, you do it. It was he actually did have something to do, and it sucked because I was in town, but it's just personal things because he was gonna do dinner with Cody Wilson and I as well a few nights before, but he was traveling. The guy's busy, man. But
so is he
cool
really,
to meet him
really busy? Yeah.
Yeah, he's super busy. He's going through he's he's a human being. It's not just work for him, right? And I've been on the show before, but not in studio, and we always vibe pretty well. We just Alex is this big bulldog, right? And he's quite abrasive and very he just
Yep.
He's got a lot of passion and a lot of experience under his belt, and I can be very aggressive too, but I'm good at, as a female, I'm good at gauging people and balancing them out. So I take this very feminine approach when I do shows with him because we balance each other out well that way. And you could see that with one of the callers where he kind of gets really annoyed with him, and I just reel it back in and just ends the conversation because it was going nowhere.
Fair enough. Yep. Okay. Fair enough. Yep. That's
fine.
Yeah,
Alex, whatever your opinion of Alex is, I just want to state, he's the real deal, man. He is, you see what you get, and you get what you see. Dude's not, there's no show. That's just Alex. So that's very refreshing for me, because sometimes you meet people and they're very, I don't know, you just don't expect them to be the way they are, but Alex is 100% the way he is. It's kind of fun.
I guess I have a question. Do you think Alex worries a lot? Is he the worrying type?
Before I started doing any of this, my boyfriend at the time, who introduced me to Alex about, 10 years ago, he's this guy from England, and he sent me this, we have it this long distance relationship, and he would send me these ripped DVDs of, music and the concerts and stuff, and on one of them he put Alex Jones show, but 10 years ago Alex Jones show, where it's just Alex sitting in this dark room with a curtain behind him, recorded on this old camera, and he's just ranting about the occult and secret societies. So I've been, and then we were listening to Alex for ages, and I would always ask my boyfriend, I would say, do you think when he's with his wife, he's just talking about this nonstop, and she's just Alex, please relax, baby, go to sleep. I think dude doesn't stop. I think Alex has a hard time relaxing, and that's just, he's on this earth with a purpose, a very straightforward purpose, and that's what he does. And I almost feel bad for him because he's one of those people whose minds just don't stop working.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can.
I get that way too sometimes, especially at night. Your mind just doesn't stop racing. I know Penn Jillette has talked about it. It's almost a personality trope or something.
Okay. Well, all right. So, all right. You lived in Russia. When did you, just to get some sort of little background, when did you leave Russia? And I haven't looked into your background too much. I didn't look into your background or anything. I figured
I left in
you could just share it with
97.
us. Okay. And what were your motives for leaving?
My daddy had one of the first businesses after the collapse in the Soviet Union, and he just saw it being co-opted by the local mafias, which is a very normal thing that happens there. As soon as you start making money, you get a target on your back, and people basically steal your business away from you. And they have very subversive ways of doing it, and you literally can't. You know, in Russia you can't call the police. Like, there's no law, there's no court system that's functional because of the bribery that goes on.
Right.
So, yeah, basically, it was funny. We were going to move to a new house, and we had the model of the house all built out and stuff. And then my father hears of finally the possibility opening up to move to either Canada, Australia, or America. And he went to one of these, you know, like when they send you like a timeshare invite, and like you get a free vacation, and like you go to the timeshare thing, and they like pitch you all their scams.
Sure,
So it was kind of like that, except it was just like a little conference. He goes to Moscow or whatever for the weekend, and like sits in one of these like we can help you get out of the country things. And he's heard of them before, and a lot of them are scams, or a lot of them start out legit and then scam you later. But you know, he's like, well, we have the money, let's just risk it and try. So, you know, he gives this dude like a large chunk of money. They do all our papers, blah, blah, blah. And miraculously, it wasn't a scam, and we got out of the country. And then a few months after, so what happens is these companies, they put a couple people through so that they build up credibility, and then the last like session of people, once there's more, they run away with the money. So that happened to that company eventually. It happened to loads of other companies that some of our friends got screwed with it. Our other friends also got out of the country, went to Germany and stuff. So it was kind of like a lottery, and we won.
Wow. And that was 97, you said?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Chances of winning the lottery.
Yeah, it was the best choice my dad ever made for us.
Good. Good to hear. Well, go ahead, Mark.
Can you kind of walk us through what got you into, kind of what you're doing now then?
The process of elimination.
Process of elimination?
Process of elimination, yeah. Everything else sucks. Like, nothing else makes sense to me.
Fair enough.
I probably learned it from my own family. They don't associate a label with their lifestyle, but they've always done what they thought was right and what they wanted to do without hurting others. So, that's anarchism in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. I like anarchism in your mind better than a lot of my friends who are anarchists, because we kind of call them cyber anarchists. But I take that away from. I separate them from actual anarchists. I don't know. There's just, people on Facebook, they like to talk a lot, but they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And I like to see you can be an anarchist, you still got to walk the walk. If you're going to be an anarchist, or if you're someone who likes anarchist principles, which I would maybe relate myself with more, because it's so much closer to my ideals. I just don't like to put a label on it, that's all.
And it starts at home, it starts in the family. Like, I believe in discipline and guidance and all of this, and I believe in, sometimes pushing your kids to do something they might not want to because they just don't know if they like it or not yet. That's all a balance. But at the end of the day, if parents only love you if you meet their expectations, that's conditional, and that means that also implies a lot of control and power games within your family. My family overall in my day-to-day lifestyle and choices, as long as I wasn't doing something overtly self-destructive, they let me do what I want. And I mean, just imagine I finished university, I did all that which they wanted me to do, and I mean, it hasn't really benefited me in a direct way, I would say, but after that, I just kind of bounced around. I did some small business stuff, and then I went really heavy into this. And most parents would freak out. Like, oh, wait, where are you going? You're going to go live in squats for months? You're going to go to, you're going to an anarchist what is this? Like, my dad was just like, cool. That's awesome that you get to travel.
Cool.
He literally, and we have a small business, and as long as I was back for the winter and I could help them out, do whatever you want, just be safe. And they got used to me just kind of being away for months at a time. And, of course, they love me and worry for me, but they also learn to trust me. And a lot of parents don't ever allow themselves to trust their kids because they're used to controlling them fully. And this is the foundations of statism. It's treating your citizens like little children they have to control.
Yep. Well, I kind of like
the state raises your kid more than the parents.
Yeah, I know all about that. Being a single dad, I do have to deal with that.
So do you homeschool, or their kids are at school?
No, I would love to homeschool. I'm all for it. The unfortunate thing is, here in the United States, the whole system obviously favors the mother, and I'm not saying it. I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about my son's mom, because I'm not doing that. So don't take that like that. But they, it's mostly her choice. That's just how it is. It's unfortunate. I would love to homeschool my son.
So you split custody then?
Not even. She has primary custody, and it's
Oh, okay. So when you say single dad, I imagine that the child's with you most of the time.
He's with me all summer. I get him all summer. It's just
okay.
The whole thing is, I have him every other weekend. So I basically for many years I had my son every other weekend. So think about that. How many days every other weekend is out of a year? That's not very much. But and it's and I'm not against paying and helping for the child, but I'm also, and I'm sure you're against it, forced government getting into the business and enforcing this stuff on the father or the mother or whatever it is. It's usually favorable for the mother. It's just how it is. But that's just government coercion. When it goes through the state, they're making money.
Would you personally like to have your kid more often, but they favored your ex-wife to have the child?
Well, she's not my ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, but
ex-girlfriend, sure.
Yeah, same thing, I guess. I would like to have him more often. I would take him as much as I would take full custody if I could. But it's just it's just a long process, and they usually favor the mother, and but I'm a loving, caring dad.
It's tricky. It's tricky because ideally you just want to be civil and not get the courts involved at all.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, people fall back to the courts now because it's
you can get free money.
It's like the chicken and the egg. Do we need the courts because people can't be civil, or people can't be civil anymore because the courts stick their nose in their business?
Yep.
Right. And it's at this point, it doesn't matter anymore. It's a self-feeding loop.
Right.
Right. But it's the legal. In this day and age, ideally you want people to just work it out, but then I also have a lot of sympathy for, a woman who's left with a child and the dude runs off, and then she doesn't have any support and she can't work. So and then legally, or vice versa, right? I know women that run off and the man stays with the kid, and she should pay them. The justice system is messed up in every situation, in my opinion.
It is, and it's like the guys that run off, the fathers that run off, they're the ones that they don't really mess with. It's actually the fathers that are there that are
because it's hard, right? It's hard to actually punish people who suck.
Yeah,
it's easy to punish people that are like available.
Yeah,
right. And that's what I deal with. And I'm not saying I have it horrible or anything. He's a daddy's boy. We have a good relationship. I'm on good terms with his mom and everything, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter if we're on good terms. The state is still controlling it, and there's nothing she could go in there and be like, "Listen, I don't want you in our business anymore," and that can't happen. And that's what's messed up.
Okay, so if you have him more often, they would what?
No, okay.
How would they even know?
We could do that. And the thing, if you go to court, you go to mediation, and you can get you can do I could go for primary custody, which I don't really want to do that to her because I'm a good dude. I'm a civil guy. He needs his mother just as much as he needs his father. So I could I don't know. It's just such a long process, and it's too bad that not just me. It's too bad that any other families have to go through it, and it's too bad that the state gets involved and tells you what to do and what you have to do here. And if you're a couple months behind on child support, if you lose your job, you get laid off or whatever, and they'll threaten you with locking you up and throwing you in jail. Even though even my situation.
But it's people who bring the state into it. The state doesn't even have to know that you're split up.
Right. Well,
if you're not divorced, the state doesn't need to be brought into it.
Well, the only reason why the state was brought into this in the first place was because I wanted to establish paternity. Because I'm not trying to get personal on here, but I guess I kind of got to explain this. But I had to establish paternity. And I was the one going for that. It wasn't her because, there were circumstances with her other boyfriend and all this stuff. And so I had to, if I didn't do that, I would have, when I saw pictures of him, I knew he was my son. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to just be like, no, screw that. I don't want anything to do with him. I'm like, no, I want paternity. I want, some sort of custody or whatever of my child. And
you wanted it to be legal in case in the future. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, and I don't, it's what I had to do, and this was years ago, and I have a different thought process now, and I would have handled things a little bit differently. Obviously I still wanted to see my son, but I know there was other ways I could have handled it, and now that I, have learned about all this stuff, but 7 years ago I didn't know this, so I did what I did. I just wanted to see my son. I missed the whole first year of his life. So okay, I don't want to get any sob stories here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, it's nice to hear a dad that's actually wants to be around, and I think people have kind of perpetuated this runaway dad idea way too much.
Yeah,
it's probably it happens a lot, but I think exaggerating it in movies and media and everywhere is just not beneficial to people. It's the same thing with the pedophile and rape and violence. The more you play it on the news, the more we believe that is our normal state.
No, yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree.
No, it's sad.
It is sad, but it is the way that it is. All right, so we'll get to another topic here.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a pain.
No offense,
I know a guy who got a vasectomy at 20 and froze a sperm.
Huh.
Because he literally did not want to deal with any of it.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, but he froze his sperm, so at some point he could
Yeah, because reversing a vasectomy is like a pain in the butt. Also, you know, he's 40 now. He doesn't want 40-year-old sperm. He wants 20-year-old sperm. It's better.
That makes sense, sure.
I never thought about that.
Guys, I just read a book where it talks about the age of the father being just as crucial as the age of the mother for the health of the child, and things like not bipolar, the one where you hallucinate. It's a mental condition.
Schizophrenia?
Yes, schizophrenia. If the father has children, if the father is over the age of 30 when he has children, the rate of schizophrenia in his child, the possibility jumps like 12%. Over 35, it's like 30% higher. Over 40, it goes to like 70% higher. And that's just one of the risks. So, I mean, people need to think of it, like, everyone's having kids really late these days, and no one's thinking of the consequences. And I would just, little shout out to you, everybody who's listening. If you don't want kids before the age of 30, really consider freezing your sperm or your eggs if you're a woman.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
But there's also a lot of teen pregnancies going on there, too.
Yeah, and they never have unhealthy babies. Maybe it's not the optimal timing for them, but they have healthy babies.
Yeah, I'm glad I got mine out of the way when I was young.
Yeah, you got more energy, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I often think about that. I had my children fairly young, and I'm glad.
I'm too young for
kids.
With
my parents.
I'll wait.
And also, you know, guys have this, like, misconception, like, oh, if I have kids, my life is over, and women have that, too. But actually, statistically, men who have children, especially young children, earn twice as much as men who don't. They also, like, hold higher positions, jobs, etc. So having a family is an incredible motivational factor in a man's life as a provider. And every man that I know started achieving his greatness when his first child was born, including my father.
Yeah, you're probably 100% right,
you
actually.
Got to find the right companion to raise that child with.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. And then sometimes that companion changes over the years, and they're not the right companion anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we're coming up on a break. Julia, we're coming up on a break. You mind sticking around for a little bit after the break?
Yeah, that's fine.
And welcome back, everybody, to episode 123 of Authentic Enlightenment. I am Chris Perkins, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Mark Cummins and Michael Wagner, and of course, I guess, Julia Tourianski. Is that how you say your last name, Julia?
That's how Americans say it. So good.
That's what that's what I was like. That's why I was asking. Like, should
it's
I say
okay.
it
I'm not gonna. No one can say it unless they're European, anyway. So it's fine.
Okay. So are you doubting?
We've changed.
Are you doubting?
Yeah, I'm totally doubting. Well, you can't roll your R first of all, and you can't say unless it's independent from the word.
Well, I am from New England, so I can drop my R's.
Do you want to try?
Try what?
You want to try saying my real name?
How do you say it?
Say it. My full real name is Julia Victorievna Tourianska.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'll pass.
It's okay. That's why we Americanized my name, so people, don't have to struggle. It's okay.
Okay. Well, fair enough. All right. So anyway, you have a couple good videos that I really liked on feminism, and I do like your. Yes, I love your stance on feminism, and I love those videos. Do you have any words that maybe you might want to shout out to some feminists maybe out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I figured you did.
It's such a loose term. I mean, So many women I know claim to be like these strong, independent women, but they're really not. And most radical feminists are like that. There's actually a few channels. I think one of the channels is called like Rational Feminism or something. Anyways, the woman, she's older, she calls herself a feminist, but she actually has very similar views to me, and she debunks the rape statistics and all this, but she still finds value in the movement and what it's stood for historically, and I totally don't discredit that. And I'm actually working on a video on the men's rights movement, which I think is falling prey to becoming radicalized as well, and sinking to the level of what feminism has become, which I find very interesting because it hasn't taken very long for that to happen.
And you're doing a video on that?
Yeah, I have most of my thoughts in order. I just have to find the time to do it at this point. Sure. I think their movement has already in such very short years reached extreme opinions, which also find value in fabricating statistics, just like the radical feminists do. And it's very disappointing because it started out, 50% of their platform is totally legitimate. And then now they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot by making ridiculous claims and being just as radicalized as the feminists have become. It's very unfortunate. It's actually incredibly disappointing to me.
Sure.
Yeah, the third wave feminism.
What's that, Michael?
Oh, they call it the third wave feminism. But like in other countries like Cambodia, there's women sticking up for other women over there, trying to help them get out of the sex slavery and things like that.
Yeah,
so
that's real feminism. That's real change,
Yeah.
There's a band of women in India because in India it's very acceptable to beat your wife still. So right. There's a band of vigilante females in India who take in women, like they have a shelter and stuff, and then they go and they beat the husband up and show him what it's like. See, I think that's great. I think that's actually, they don't get the government involved, they don't do anything, but they see value in retribution. And I think generationally it works because if people, like anarchism isn't about doing whatever you want, whether or not it hurts people. If you're doing whatever you want and it hurts somebody and there's no retribution, society is going to go down the drain. There has to be retribution for poor, violent action.
Right. So, kind of getting back to that, how do you view on anarchy in an anarchy society? How would you do that? Would it be like private courts? Private police?
I mean, yeah, sure, but I think, it's very hard to envision things, and if you start to kind of build systems in your mind before we're at a moral place to actually make them work, it's, you kind of become a dictator. So, but I do know that small community retribution and policing does work. I dated a guy that was a, traveling musician, hobo, he lived in communities that were very outside of society with traveling kids and their dogs, and they don't call the cops, obviously, they're all criminals by definition. So one of their friends who was female came to them one day crying because her boyfriend just raped her. So they went and found him and scalped him. He didn't die or anything, but a group of her guy friends went and through action showed him retribution. And guess what? He never bothered her again. So,
exactly.
Whether you agree with that or you disagree, my point is people don't need the police to punish others.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And you're right about not being there, not being in that, nor even close to having something of that society yet to to jump to exactly what it would be. I like that way you were going with that at the beginning, but
yeah, we're totally morally bankrupt, especially in California. So we have a long way to go.
It's a place to visit, but not a place to live. I mean,
Yeah.
I like shooting guns. In California, it's hard to shoot guns anywhere because it's just banned.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it is.
Not in Compton,
you shoot guns,
man.
Julia?
You can do what you want in Compton.
I was just listening to Good Kid, Mad City, and it's just like a mess, man. And they all have guns because they have to have guns because the police don't come.
Do you like the speaking of that the new Kendrick Lamar album? What did you think of that? Have you heard it?
I was obsessed with that album for like 2 months straight. It's all I listened to.
It is.
Oh my god, it's so good.
More people need to hear it. Not just they need to hear the like people looking for like the beats and all this. Like hear his words, and
yeah.
I have so much
Google's
support for Kendrick Lamar, and I love what he's doing, and nobody else is doing that right now, and nobody has done that since like Tupac. I mean,
yeah,
and
it's amazing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love what he's doing. Oh my God, I would just love to like sit down for at least like 20 minutes with Kendrick Lamar. It would just like be a dream. You know what I mean?
I would. Yeah, who wouldn't?
Sure you would too.
I watched his performance on Ellen, and she's like praising his record and stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, you don't even understand what he's talking about. Like, you're a California progressive liberal girl. Like, you don't understand. Like, you're probably a social justice warrior. Like, you don't get it. So, I mean, yeah, he's wonderful. Like, his whole rant on the N-word.
Yeah.
And, dissing Oprah about it. I mean, that was gold. I just loved that.
It's true, and it's kind of flying under the radar. I've been trying to like show people this because, like I said, they're like not looking at the lyrics and stuff. And that's what I like about. If
you're
the whole
an anarchist, listen to that album. Oh my God, I've been telling everyone to.
You have to. And it bugs me that people are like, well, Kendrick Lamar, oh, well, that's mainstream. It's like, you should be happy that someone is doing that and getting mainstream play. Like, that's what we want, right? Isn't that what we want? I mean, we're against the mainstream media.
And I mean, the mainstream always, like, the mainstream never gets it. Like, I mean, he's only mainstream because he's so talented and well-produced and unique. It doesn't mean that the mainstream gets his lyrics.
Exactly.
So you have both, which is great. You have both, and like you look at, his big song that made him famous, the song, the drink one, right? And it's so hilarious because you go to clubs and people are drinking to the song, and this is a song about his alcoholic abuse.
That's not what he's saying. He's not. Yeah, he's not saying go and wait, like screw your life off and get drunk and all this. He's like, limit that, like pay attention, like that's not what it's all about. Yeah. So
ironic.
So I love that you understand that. That's awesome. That's so great.
Oh, I'm a huge hip hop head, and like Kendrick.
Good.
Man, Kendrick, I listen to him every day. I can't help it. He's so good.
I do too. That's awesome. I love this. I love that. You're the first person that's like been on this show that actually has said something like that. So I appreciate that a lot right now. That means a lot.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people dismiss anything mainstream. It's a bit silly, especially when it's not even mainstream.
That's what bugs me. It's like, so someone like reaches that level and they finally get their stuff out in the mainstream, and it's like, oh well, they're mainstream. Like, no, you get, there's a line. There's a fine line. Use your head, and I don't know. It's I do know.
I feel your rage. I feel it.
Okay.
I totally get it.
It's rage, but it's positive rage. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So we got gun control, gun rights. I know you're pro-gun. What do you have to say to the listeners? Why we should have guns and why gun control doesn't actually work?
Well, I feel like the gun debate is so over, and like people who still think that there's a debate are just delusional.
I agree with that. Yep.
It's just crazy. And like to the feminist girls, I don't care how much Judith Butler you read, or I don't care how much dogma you swallow and how equal you want us to be. You're still going to be physically weaker than most guys. That's a reality. Call it a hate fact, whatever. That's a reality. So get yourself a gun so you can shoot this guy who tries to rape you, right? Like, that's the only way. That is the only way.
Right. How does that not make sense?
Right. It's ridiculous that these women think they can be empowered through other means. Like, a poster on your campus school ground is not going to, like, prevent rape. Like, guys, like, it's like this ridiculous note. Like, people aren't going to start murdering because it's legal. People aren't going to stop murdering because it's illegal. Rape is, can be categorized somewhat with that logic. A rapist isn't going to stop raping if he sees a flyer, It's ridiculous. He's going to rape you if he wants to rape you. And the only way you're going to stop him from raping you is if you physically stop him. And you can't, because you're a 120-pound girl and he's a 160-pound dude. So
not everybody is Ronda Rousey, right? I mean, come on.
Right. Not everyone has time to learn, like, ridiculous self-defense.
Sure.
Not everyone has, time for a German Shepherd in their home. Like, get a gun. It's cheap and it's easy to use, and just learn gun safety. I don't encourage anyone to purchase a firearm without taking a class in self-defense or taking a class on how to use the gun. Totally.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, totally. And, like, fine, like, the world we live in right now, like, make it mandatory to take, like, just like a driving test. You have to take a driving test to get a license. Fine. Okay, if we're gonna make excuses to have a state, like, that's not that bad. Like, so, I don't know. The whole debate is just ludicrous to me at this point. Like, well, these people have nothing left to say, honestly.
So we got a lot of mass shootings, a lot recently. Do you think there's any? I mean, we all have our opinions on this, but what do you think? You think there's a connection between, like, antidepressants, SSRIs? You think that's an issue with these shootings?
Yeah, for sure. So I was reading the same book I was talking about earlier with the schizophrenia statistics, and he was saying there's a chapter in it called "Spare the Rod, Medicate the Child." And it says, we're now in this society where, like, if you hit your kid, you're the worst person, worst criminal, you should go to jail. But if you give your 5-year-old psychotropics, no big deal. You're a great parent. And then those drugs lead to your kid being completely chemically imbalanced and shooting up his own school. Like, why? Like, if there is an increase in shootings, which the statistics aren't, totally united about, actually, crime overall is down. I think shootings in public places are up, but gun violence generally is down. But the reason they're up, I would argue, is because these kids are, and not just kids, or young adults, are heavily medicated, and they go crazy. They literally go mental. And they're going to get a gun, whether there's a gun for sale or whether there's a gun for sale in a store, whether there's a gun for sale out of someone's trunk. They're going to get a gun. It doesn't matter. So why don't we stop medicating our population? Why don't we try that out? And the reason I brought the chapter in the book up is he talks about how there's actually statistics in very, like, Puritarian Christian regions of England where they actually use corporal punishment quite a bit, and there's this, like, weird consensus of if you hit your kids, they'll grow up to be violent criminals. But the statistics don't actually show that. they show that kids grow up to be normal, functioning people in society. And I don't condone hitting your children. I don't think you should use corporal punishment, but
No way.
that I'm not gonna stay on an empty with empty claims that hitting your kids equals violence. What does equal violence is medicating your kids. That can be statistically shown. Because the medication of our children from the 70s to the 90s went up 500%. 500%. Think about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Think
that's
that
the
in your
problem,
head.
really.
A lot of money involved.
Yeah, we're hitting our kids less. Parents are generally not using corporal punishment anymore, but we're medicating our kids more. That's the facts. So take what you want from that.
Wow. That's a scary statistic.
It's a very scary statistic.
And once this generation grows up, who knows what they'll be like.
Oh my gosh, it's just terrible. I'm scared.
No, I absolutely don't blame you. We have a caller. But before we get to the caller, I do have a question that I like to. It's my new thing. I'm going to ask people this. I mean, it's not new, but I like to ask people. I asked Rand Paul this question last week, and I got ignored. We played the footage on the last show. What are your thoughts on Israel and the U.S. funding Israel?
Wait, and Canada funding Israel and
Canada funding Israel, or anybody funding Israel.
Everybody's funding Israel.
Exactly. So, what are your thoughts on that? I really want to hear what you have to say about that because I haven't seen a video on that, and I haven't seen your opinion on that. So, I would love to hear that.
It's all a political game. You fund the powers, and the powers fund you, and they have your back in the future. Of course they're gonna fund Israel. I mean, that's just I don't support it. I don't.
You're on par with
Israel. I don't support
Israel.
Countries funding other countries at all. Period.
Right. Especially if they can take care of their own.
Especially countries that are committing war crimes.
Yes, like us.
Right.
Or not us. I shouldn't say us. Like the U.S. I can't say us because I'm not involved in that anymore because I'm not paying those taxes anymore that fund the wars.
I'm involved. Yeah. I'm guilty.
Yeah, you are because you're paying your income tax, and I'm not. And I'm not paying anything like that. I'm not an anarchist, but I'm close to it.
Do you worry about them coming after you?
Julia's talking me into this anarchist thing. Do I worry?
Do you worry about them coming after you? Because I know people who have.
Who coming after me?
Targeted. Them threatening you with jail time for not paying income tax.
Am I worried? Not necessarily. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. But if it happens, it happens. I'll take whatever comes with it. But no, I'm not. I could say worried. I would say worried is different than scared. Just because worried would mean if I go to prison, I'm kind of worried about my son. So am I scared? No, I'm not scared. I would never be scared to take one for the team. I would never be. No, but worried. Yeah, worried just because of my personal life, and that would affect my personal life. So that's my answer to that. What about you? Are you worried?
I just need to figure out a way to work outside of the system without filing a tax return, because they watch you if you don't file a tax return.
Be a stripper.
I never had anyone recommend me that.
There you go. There are ways around it. That you can do it. I mean,
tough though. You gotta.
Yeah, they don't want you to.
They don't. and I've had no issues. I mean, I ran my own business for a couple of years, and I never did the whole tax thing, so they haven't caught up with me yet. And it's been a while, but there could be a day where they're like, oh wow, look at this guy, he's causing some trouble. Let's look into his records. Let's look into whoa. You know, and like it'll come back on you at some point. So it might come back on me at some point, but I'm willing to do what I have to do.
Did you guys know that I went to Israel just a month ago or so? 2 months ago?
Tell us.
Yeah,
about this.
Sure did.
Please tell us about it.
I mean, I went for the Bitcoin community, which is awesome there. And it was actually funny. I go to the embassy and I just stop by and I take a picture and put on my Facebook, like, guess where I am? And then I come back like an hour later and the CEO of the embassy, the guy that runs it, is sitting on his computer, like, replying to a message on my picture that I just took, like saying, like, oh, I just missed her. I can't believe she was just here and I missed her. And I'm like, hey. He's like, oh, you came back. And then, like, everyone came and, like, I made all these new friends and everyone's super friendly and, like, they took me. I met this one guy, like, real radical kind of anarchist activist in Bitcoin, like anti-state. His name was Ratner, and we went to, we traveled around together. That was really fun. But, and he was very, anti the war and, anti-oppressing Palestine and all of this. But he's a very small minority, and that's how, I was very interested in his opinions on what's going on. And says, yeah, most people either just don't care, don't talk about it, and most other people are very pro-Israel here, of course. And he's in a small minority, and he gets into fights with people about it all the time. So, yeah. Should we go to the caller?
Yeah, what happened to that caller, Chris?
Oh.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, what up, Jeff?
What's going on, Michael?
Hey, hi, Jeff. What's going on?
Not much. How's it going? Hello, guest.
Hello.
Awesome stuff here. Liking it.
Did you hear I thought you probably heard the last part about the Bitcoin thing she did.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah, I know you happen to be a huge advocate for Bitcoin, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I wanted to get your take on a conspiracy theory that I've come up with it, whatever, but a lot of people apparently have also come up with it, and I'm sure you're not going to believe it. You're probably not going to believe it, but a lot of traders don't believe it, but I don't know, I think it's a possibility. My theory is that this Satoshi dude is actually like some sort of, cover for the CIA or some sort of alphabet agency, maybe the central banking families, and that they want to use Bitcoin to become like the global world currency. And a lot of people,
I talked about this on Alex Jones. I talked about this for Prism Planet with Paul Joseph Watson. I have a whole video with Paul Joseph Watson talking about that conspiracy theory, and check it out because I lay it out. I kind of dismiss it, I just think it's a bit silly. And even if, first of all, it's a really crappy world currency. First of all. Second of all, the way that it has the potential of empowering the individual is very counterproductive to what the New World Order would want. And the reactions from governments and other agencies have been quite fearful and not, engaged in Bitcoin. Also, all right, let's say that it was created by the government. So what? So was the internet, and it's been the most disruptive tool for the government so far. So what? It depends on how you use the technology. And Bitcoin it's not set in stone. There is fluidity to the way that it works. And I know everybody in this community, and I know people who develop it. I know a lot of the core devs personally, and they put in hours and hours and hours of not only work, but community work, making sure that there is some sort of positive consensus of Bitcoin moving in the direction that would benefit everybody overall. And they don't do it in a kind of democratic, communistic way. They do it between the people who actually know how the tech works. So this is a really interesting example of like very altruistic cooperation amongst individuals who could be power tripping. But what we're seeing is people loving this technology and progress so much that they are taking their time and putting all their brain power and effort to preserving the ethos. And there's bad actors like Gavin and Mike Hearn, and they have been bad actors from the very start. And guess what? They're becoming discredited, and nobody likes them, and nobody respects them anymore. So I am actually surprised that happened, but I am very, very, very thankful that like the good is persevering.
No, I hear you there. No, I guess it's just like a fun theory I play around with. It's like the whole idea that, what was it? The first transaction with Bitcoin, some guy gave another guy a pizza, a whole pizza pie for 10,000 Bitcoins.
Yeah, and we know who. We know the like usernames and everything.
But I think. See, I'm like the idea that these people. I could see it happening because I could see them going through their think tanks and coming up with the idea. Well, let's make this seem like it's completely grassroots, and then you had the media going really.
I don't think they're that smart. I think you're giving them way too much credibility. I think, I think these people are in positions of power because they've inherited it most of the time, and they're not that smart. They really aren't. If they were that smart, they would have already orchestrated their, evil plans ages ago. It wouldn't take that long for them, and the smarter ones of them in the smaller countries do it faster. And I think it was an individual, and I think that people, like when it was worthless, when this currency was worthless, it was just like geeks, nerds, and crypto-anarchists like, oh, cool, something new that works. And I know people who were there from day one. I know several people who were there from day one when Bitcoin was worthless. And they just had fun, like, sending it to their friends because it's a new tech. People are curious. We're little monkeys. We like to play around with things.
Yeah. I could see it, though. I mean, because they do. I mean, a lot of people like to say that, the government's not that smart. And I agree. Most of the people in the government are smart. They do have their think tanks. And if it is true, they have been preparing it for a long time. I mean, and a lot of people were speculating that they want, like, a new sort of global currency type deal. But, I mean, either way, and then you had the media all promoting it. And the media is just like a joke. But they kind of also control the media. So why would they be throwing that?
I don't think the media wasn't promoting it at all. If you look at any early interviews about Bitcoin, people are like, "You're stupid. This isn't real."
Right.
Like the media coverage only recently became positive. And you look at the history of online currencies and currencies backed by gold and things like that, like recent ones. Like look at the Liberty Dollar. Okay, there's a great story that the creator of the Liberty Dollar, who's been, on probation for like ages, I met him at a PorcFest this year. He said that, so the Liberty Dollar was like around for 15 years or something, and it's a very similar concept to Bitcoin, except it's not electronic. And these are just like grassroots people who live in New Hampshire, and like it was basically like the old school free staters, right? That made this Liberty Dollar functional, and then it was all confiscated, and the government stepped in, blah blah blah.
Sure.
But there's a great story, and I don't know if it's true, but I don't care. I love the story. So he says his buddy was at a hacker privacy conference in Prague or something. And everyone has like a name tag that has their online persona on. It's not their real name. And he started talking to a dude, and this dude was like, in his mid-20s or something, and he was rambling on about the Liberty Dollar and how cool it is and how he's going to make, or how he sees that in a few years there's going to be a online version of the Liberty Dollar, and his name tag was Satoshi Nakamoto.
No, I spend most of my time actually during the last year, and I'm sure you've heard of the Whale Club thing and TeamSpeak with Flibber and all those people. There's a lot of good people, and they have a lot of interesting people. The most interesting person I spoke with was that dude who went to jail, not for not the Ross guy.
Not Albrecht, but the other guy that you were telling us about.
Yeah, who was the other guy? I can't even remember his name, but he was a really interesting character. And most of them would probably agree with you. But, I mean, I'm just playing here, like playing with the idea. If it's the case, then they clearly have been if they have been involved in Bitcoin from the start, then obviously they've accumulated most of the coins because they want to manipulate it in the future. But also, on the plus, that is probably the only way that this will anytime soon. I mean, if it is the government that's behind it, then Bitcoin's going to eventually take off and it's going to become
Well, we know how
huge.
we have a ballpark on how much coin the government has. Like the addresses are visible in public, especially the old ones. There's a bunch of untouched cold storage addresses. We assume there's we know the CIA has like thousands of Bitcoin that they've stored up. Like there isn't like I mean, I'm sure if they split it up between loads of accounts, but I haven't seen from anybody who's taken the time to track these accounts, which many people have done, raise any kind of suspicion about like one epic holder of Bitcoin. And I'm sure Satoshi has the most, and he split it up between accounts, but at this point, like, you don't need to be the government to manipulate Bitcoin. Like, you just need to be a bear whale or whatever and just throw it in there, which is fine. I mean, a lot of currencies, all currencies can be. Look at gold. Gold is so manipulated right now. Like, it's just a problem of currency at this point.
You know,
Bitcoin is not the worst.
This is going to make a lot of people angry, but I think even if this dollar bubble pops, I don't think it's going to go to record lows. It could. It may, but if it does, I think gold will just go to 1,700, and then it will be suppressed down and manipulated down to about 500. Silver, though, I think is the best bet because I don't think it's ever going to go any lower. But even if the government were to take Bitcoin seriously or cryptocurrencies, I think they would end up making their own crypto coin and not using Bitcoin.
Well, like, I mean, sure, I don't think the government has much use for it, to be honest. The banks could benefit from it because it's cheaper to send.
Yeah.
But like they're like a prehistoric, like the way that they do things, and there's companies that are working on, pitching similar. It's not Bitcoin necessarily, but the way Bitcoin works or could possibly work. They pitch it. It has been pitched to banks. That's a possibility. The government wants everyone using credit cards. That's it. Like, because they can shut it down. They can control it. It's very visible. Like, that's what they want. They don't want a cryptocurrency. That's ridiculous. Like,
they should use blockchain technology, at least in the background of transactions. So what do you think about this this collapse that is supposedly coming? I mean, I think it's going to start.
Oh, like the Jewish every 7 years thing?
Yeah, I mean, the only problem I have with that is so much the Shemitah thing and Jubilee. The only problem I have with that is so many people now know about it because of the what is his name, David Kahn or
Berwick?
Well, no, it was Kahn. He wrote the Harbinger Code, I believe it's called. Berwick just bit off of the Harbinger.
Yeah.
But
sure.
but he did a good video with that. He did mention Kahn's book. But the problem with that is so many people now know about it that once so many people know about it, shut up. they usually don't follow through. So because so many people are expecting it to happen in September, I have my doubts that it will happen in September. The S&P looks like it's going to drop in either November, December, or January. That's when that big crash looks like it's going to happen. Like, this is just the beginning, and then it will have a retrace. And then it will.
But don't you think that people who matter within the systems always knew about this anyways? Like, who cares if some plebs know about it because they watched a YouTube video? Like,
True.
I don't think that affects anything.
But Yeah, but the counter to that is if everybody knows about it, then we can say that it was intentionally collapsed and like it is one massive conspiracy to like deprive the nations of all their wealth.
Yeah, so but if it happens, who cares like what the cause is? Like we're talking about is it going to happen or not?
Those people, I mean, these
There's
people.
no stopping it.
It's not the 1% that people like to claim. That would be like tens of millions of people on the planet. It's really just a few thousand people. I mean, and they all, we know who they are. The lists of all the names are at this Council on Foreign Relations and all these other groups that they joined. They all have names and home addresses. I mean, they're out there in the public for us to see. So I mean, they're not completely, I mean, secure in that way. They have to be somewhat vulnerable. I mean, in a sense, if we expose them, we can, in a sense, use their identities to keep them hostage almost, and make it so they don't use the militaries against the population. What some are speculating they might do.
I don't get it. I mean, the Shemitah thing happens every 7 years, so like, why would there be military intervention this time?
Oh well,
it's just the cycle.
Yeah, the last few, I mean, were significant as far as the stock market and dollar value goes, but this one is supposedly the Jubilee, which is once every 7 times, and the claim is that in the Old Testament,
so it's supposed to be bigger.
Yeah, once every 7 Shemitahs is the Jubilee year, and what happens is in the with Old Jerusalem and all, God came down and said, basically, you guys have to change your ways, and you have some time to do it. And if you do change your ways, the Jubilee will be like a blessing, and if you don't, it will be like I want to say a curse, like judgment they use in the Bible. So 50 years ago, supposedly. I think Khan said, I didn't read his book, I saw his History Channel documentary, but he said that is when something significant with abortion happened, and America chose to go with abortion. I'm not sure if that's exactly accurate.
Wow.
I have to look into that.
In the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, so, and now, almost to the day or something of the Jubilee year, and now 50 years later,
I didn't know that.
Since we didn't, obey the commandments and all that crap, is going to be our downfall. And that supposedly that's when an empire will fall or rise or whatever. So
ironically, Israel is very loose about abortion.
Yeah. Israel's crazy. You said you went to Israel. How was that anyway? How are the people? I'm imagining they're cool.
Like our caller,
I'm Russian.
Totally.
I'm Russian, and a lot of Jews are Eastern European, right? So we have similar. Right. I guess our worldview is similar, like in the way that we act and our aggressive nature and straightforwardness. So I felt at home to some degree. Really good food, and most people aren't very political. Like it's very secular. Israel's very secular. More secular than you'd think, actually. And then there's, you have your Hasidic Jews and Orthodox Jews and stuff. And I sat with an Orthodox Jewish guy. He was like 21 on the plane, and I found that his world was very limited and closed off. But he lives in his community, and that's what happens. And at the same time, they have very strong moral views about things, and they're generally nonviolent, the Orthodox Jews anyways. So it's very hard to just be like, oh, Israel is like this, and the people are like that, because it depends who you talk to, right? But, from the person I was hanging out with who's lived there, generationally, he gets very frustrated with the general consensus about what Israel is doing as a country state.
Mm-hmm. So I think that we should get everybody out of Israel and fly them to America and just get them here fast. And that way we don't have to worry about protecting our ally, and we can just give Islam the entire Middle East, let them have fun with it, and we can forget about it and save trillions a year in military and close down all the bases and just bring all our troops home and have them protect our borders, etc. So
they do have really good shawarma. I wouldn't mind.
Works for you.
They're delicious.
You didn't run into any like crazy radical Zionists then?
No, I did not, but I'm sure they are around.
No. Well, look at you.
No, of course they're around. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
Rand Paul. Rand Paul.
I don't know. I still think he might be.
I proved that, man. I proved that.
He might
prove that. Did I not prove that?
That was good.
Now, was that good? Julia, you want me to play the clip for you? It's kind of like 4 minutes.
That's what his advisors did. His advisors told him that
you want to sum it up for me?
I'll actually send you the YouTube clip. I don't want to play it on the show. We've already played it. It takes up 4 minutes, and I know you probably have some stuff to get to, so I don't want to take up all your time. But I'll send you the YouTube link, and you can watch it, because it's,
okay.
You know.
So it's Rand Paul being a Zionist?
Basically. Just wouldn't answer questions. I'll show you the clip. It's.
I got a little nervous watching it.
I did. I
put it on. I felt
nervous. Everyone, it was like all eyes on me. It was like everyone was looking at me. Why are you asking? It's like, well, nobody else is going to ask that.
I'm so disappointed with Rand Paul.
Me too. Compared to his dad?
Especially, even as, just from a political perspective, from the political game, if you watch the debate and he attacks Trump, the last person he should be attacking, man. Are you kidding me? Trump. And he, attacked him in a stupid way, and he totally got shut down. Yep. I'm wow. Yeah, don't attack Trump if you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not a Trump fan, but you should be attacking other people over Trump. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that reeks of desperation.
Jeb Bush,
It kind of reminds me of a weasel. An actual weasel.
And people are saying oh, he's just doing that and that is plausible. It is plausible that you would have to do that to get into the whole thing. You would have to. I mean, if you, I don't. As much as I don't want to.
Shut down Trump?
Well, right.
Gotta go after the popular guy.
You don't have to do
that.
That's
why I hate politics. I agree. Right. No,
it's all crap too, and they're all jumping on this Planned Parenthood business, right? And they're such liars and hypocrites. Cause, what's the guy's name? That's the governor of New Jersey.
Christie. Chris Christie.
Yeah, Christie. What the hell is Christie talking about?
Unlike people that smoke marijuana, but he's fat.
No, well, I just want to point out how he talks about how he's anti-abortion fully, and it's dude, your state allows abortion to the moment of birth.
And that, yep.
What are you doing as governor of New Jersey when you can't even overthrow that? Most states at least have it limited to 3 months or 2 months. Well, your state is one of I think New Jersey and another one. I forget which one.
I didn't know
New
that.
Jersey for sure. Yeah, New Jersey allows it to the moment of birth. You can legally kill your child at 9 months, and he's talking about being anti-abortion. What a I don't know if I can swear in this.
I lived in Jersey all my life. I didn't know this.
No, yes.
Yeah, of course you don't. Nobody talks about it.
You can swear.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, he's just a lying piece of shit. Because I'm sorry, if you're the governor of New Jersey and you're anti-abortion and it's still up to the moment of birth in your state, fuck you, you haven't done shit.
Exactly. Nicely
put. Took all night. It took all night for her to drop the F-bomb. All night.
Yes,
well,
I noticed that.
Usually I'm not allowed.
This is it's on. Come on, I mean we have Lee Camp and Kokesh and we come on. We have a lot of people that like to.
Conrad,
I don't know how you feel about Christopher Cantwell. We used to be fans up until recently. What's your thoughts on Christopher Cantwell? I know you know who he is.
I hardly know anything he does but everything he's been famous for so far has been repulsive to me.
Thank you.
The first time I heard about him was when he was, who was that guy? Okay, there was an older male who ran an online website. It was like, it was very Austrian economics and Randian free state, free society or something. And he admitted on Facebook that he molested his daughter. And then Cantwell, the daughter wrote a. Do you remember that? The daughter wrote an article about it. And Chris Cantwell, victim blamed her.
Oh wow, I didn't know the details on that. That's harsh.
Yeah, he called her whiny. I don't know. It was ridiculous. Wow. It was like, you're a piece of shit. Like, what are you doing? Also pulling out the gun, and those drunk people were like, "You're so desperate for views, man." Like, really?
Yeah, I saw that.
And then the whole Josie Wales naked picture thing, oh, I'm not going to do the level of releasing these pictures, except now that I'm going to because you said that I did. What kind? You're the most illogical person in the world. Don't even claim to be. Don't claim to be an anarchist because we're logical.
I'll side with him with that Antonio Bueller though. The only thing I'm going to agree with.
Jeff, you're breaking up.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure the dude has some good opinions and some stuff.
No, he does.
But
he does. And that's
when you think that low, I just think you're a bad human being.
Right. Yeah, and I agreed with him on a lot of stuff, but I think lately, in the past year, I've totally moved away from. He used to come on our show. He's been on our show a few times, and he just for once he got that little plug there on the Colbert show, Stephen Colbert show, the whole thing with the
really.
Oh yeah, they did a thing on them with the what is it?
Free State Project.
Free Project. So Free Keene, and they had Cantwell on Colbert, and after that, dude, that was
lucky.
it. And it's and then after that, I couldn't even get him on the show because I had some issues with him, and I was like, all right, so I want to get him on the show because I want to talk about this shit. He refused to come on the show. He was a wicked dick about it. And then was the whole thing with Josie. And I love Josie. I have no issues with Josie. She's been on our show. And I have no fucking the thing. If he had anything to do with it or whatever, I don't care. But whoever had anything to do with that, they're fucking assholes.
Oh hell yeah.
And, her ex-boyfriend, the cop block.
Yeah,
he had a demo. Thanks for apologizing, man. But you're a dickhead.
Yep.
You don't do that, and all those I guess we're in after hours.
The thing too with that, the whole red pill side of it, don't take naked pictures of yourself, and you know what, Josie was actually careful about it. She didn't put her face in it. But because she's a little bit famous and people know her in the community, there's a tattoo. Right. Also, it doesn't matter because it's her ex-boyfriend, and if he puts a picture up of a naked body and says it's Josie, people are gonna believe him. So even if you take the precaution, you're still gonna have your tits out in the world because your ex-boyfriend is so shitty that he would violate your privacy that way.
That's fine. He's a scumbag.
And that's why we totally, after that, we were and that's why I wanted to get Cantwell on the show, because I wanted to bring that up, because that's what we like to do here. We're not like you. We're not going to sneak attack you because we agree, we like you. Or not to,
it shouldn't be. None of this should be sneak attack. They did it, so I mean.
Well,
fair enough.
But you're not going to get someone on the show to talk about that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to do that, and it's that's what I was going to do. I was like, well, all right. So I know Cantwell does. I mean, I know I've agreed with Cantwell on many things. So let's get him on the show. I think he knew, because I think a lot of my Facebook posts and stuff like that. So I think that was the whole deciding moment when he was like, well, I probably shouldn't go on there because I know he's going to ask me about that, because I threw a fit about that. And
wow,
and
bit of a coward son.
So I guess that maybe wasn't a sneak attack because I wasn't too sneaky about it, but I mean, I don't know. But I would I like to call people out that do things like that. And Cantwell is one of the people that need to be called out. And there are a few other people that we have talked about on the show. But
Yeah, I wrote a whole article about this. These anarchists, self-proclaimed anarchists, non-aggression, non-violence, and then in their personal lives, they're pieces of shit. Like, you can't. I mean,
yes. And that's why we talk about cyber anarchists, because
it makes you wonder if anarchism could really work. You know,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, it does. It does make me wonder. It does make me
everyone
wonder.
actually get along and do that. Like, I look at humanity, and that's why I'm not like I do.
Well, that's why I'm
like
for retribution, because we don't all get along.
Right.
I'm sorry, Chris
that's
and Mark.
why I like your views, because you actually.
When I debated Cantwell, dude, I kicked his ass.
No,
man.
you didn't. You actually did not. You didn't.
No, he really actually didn't.
Yes,
but
he really actually demolished you
on that debate.
That's so funny.
It is. But I would mostly agree with you over that, but that debate Cantwell absolutely destroyed you. And
what was the debate?
I think
we have it. I can
It was.
It lasted about an hour.
Anarchy and it was. That's how it started, wasn't it?
Like libertarian.
That was like 2 years ago. That was.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I don't remember. I don't know. I just know Cantwell did win that, but
I get into that one.
Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with what Cantwell does and other anarchists. That's why I appreciate you because you don't do that.
What do you guys think of like the Stefan Molyneux thing, shutting down the YouTube account and stuff?
Well,
are you guys fans or not fans?
I threw a big fit. No, I do not like Stefan Molyneux. I didn't.
Yeah,
I did not.
I don't like him. But some of his videos recently have been kind of
no. Just like Larkin Rose, I like some of his stuff, but me and Larkin I've had debates with Larkin, and he won't address certain things with me. He just ignores me, and I try to get him on the show to talk about it, and he refuses to do it. And that's why I like that you came on, because it's kind of weird that we can get women anarchists on the show, but these men won't come on. And except for Derek Bros. Derek Bros will come on because I love Derek.
Is it like an ego thing? Yeah, Derek's a cool dude.
Derek is awesome.
Yeah, he is.
I love Derek, and Derek will always come on. I mean, it'd be like if we had Mark Savage on, and I agree a lot with him, and I think the anarchists that we really just couldn't stand were Cantwell. Who else? Who else have we had on that were anarchists? Is that the only one?
Yeah, probably, dude.
Like, really? Like, I mean, Berwick wouldn't come on because I know that he knew that he was getting set up. But
come on.
We've had Adam on and Cantwell.
No, of course, they had Adam on, but Adam, I don't even know Adam, like...
Right, anarchist that's running for president.
I don't even know, yeah. But, yeah, of course, they had Adam on. Ooh. Adam.
Adam.
Adam is Adam. Adam has changed in the last year, though, and philosophically, he's had ever since he's been out of prison and everything,
right,
been out of jail or whatever. Like, it's like his philosophies. I love it. I don't know what he's doing with his little hipster thing now, but I'm gonna give him shit the next time he comes on for that.
What hipster thing?
He's just like Have you seen his videos lately with his glasses and like he's like like?
Well, his fiance is a yoga teacher, so maybe that's part of it.
Like,
he's getting a bit hippie.
Nice,
but that's okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah, she's really nice. They're cool.
No, I do like her actually, and
yeah.
I'm not talking shit about Adam. That's great. If you want to do that, that's great. I would rather you do that.
I mean, what's the point? It's just Adam. I mean, I've just known him for so
Yeah.
Adam's Adam. Adam doesn't hurt a fly. He's like he does his thing,
and he gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of shit from people, and that's why I stick up for him, because he doesn't deserve it, man. That dude has busted his ass. He's put his ass on the line, and people don't even they don't. You need to appreciate people like that. That's how I feel. I appreciate Adam.
Yeah, he has a lot of controversy with like the whole. I just don't know. I'm not gonna judge him until I know facts. But from my experience with Adam, like dude's like really well intentioned and like has a good heart. Like I don't know what else I can say.
No, I agree with you. And any conversations that I've had with him, that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
I talk to close friends of his and everything, and they say the same thing. So I mean.
Yeah, he's awesome. You guys, if you haven't seen the roast we did this year at PorkFest, check that out. That was all Adam. He twisted my arm into participating. It was so scary, but like I ended up doing a good job. And thanks Adam for twisting my arm because now I have more confidence. Thanks.
Awesome.
Anyways, check out that video. It's just type in 2015 PorkFest roast. It's awesome. But I have to run, guys.
Yeah, we're about ready to wrap up. You are speaking at Liberty Fest, right?
Sure am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm speaking at Parallel Polis the week before. It's a hacker conference. And then I will be speaking at Liberty Fest. And that's going to be it for me for a little while, I think. I'm going to stick to my home country. I'm really tired of traveling. So check me out. It might be like your last chance in a while. So come make an effort to go to New York or Prague.
And any other plugs? I mean, your YouTube webpage, get it out right now.
Brave the World. Just type in Brave the World channel into YouTube. BraveTheWorld.com. I have really awesome T-shirts. I have the best Bitcoin T-shirts you will find, and that's how I fund my operation. I take donations as well. You can do PayPal or Bitcoin. And follow me on Twitter. That's like my favorite, and I'm pretty active. And I don't regurgitate. I try to keep the platform separate, so I will not be repeating too much that I say on Twitter on Facebook or on my website or whatever. So I'm very fun on Twitter. So follow me at Brave the World. So take care, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. Enjoy your night.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Take care.